Emmerdale spoilers, Charity and Bernice exit shocks, Rhona vanishes and birth goes wrong. It may be the end of the line for two Emmerdale legends next week, as the net closes in on the now criminal Bernice Blackstock, while Charity Dingle decides to get away from the village. The Kings are thrown into turmoil by Bernice's fraud as enforcement officers turn up. Bernice is in hiding, but it's not long before Sister Nicola King has her tracked down and confronts her. With police potentially involved, and confirmation that Sam Giles is leaving the show, does jail beckon for Bernice? Charity has had enough of indecisive Mac Boyd and decides to depart to Scotland to stay with Debbie. But he takes drastic action to stop her and declare his love. It seems like his mind is finally made up, but, as he heads to dump Chloe Harris, she suddenly collapses. This isn't the only medical emergency next week. When Rhona Goskirk tracks down Gus and Lucy to confront them over the embryos, Lucy suddenly goes into labor, doubled over in pain. Can she get to the hospital on time and will all be okay? Jimmy's shock and anger deepens as he discovers enforcement agents have seized their belongings due to a fraudulent 20 grand debt, with culprit Bernice seemingly on the run. Meanwhile, Bob is aghast to learn she has neglected to pay suppliers, whilst daughter Gabby is crestfallen over her mother's abandonment, again. Jimmy confronts wife Nicola's reluctance to report Bernice's fraud. Elsewhere, Kathy's casual attitude raises suspicions with Nicola, who is determined to find her sister. Bernice hides out in Brook Cottage, fearing prison if Nicola reports her. Kathy secretly updates Bernice on the reaction on the outside. Before long, Nicola finds her and blocks her escape, but at the last moment, Bernice stays. She confesses the reason behind her fraud, but Nicola is hard-lined it's the police or accept her deal. Mac and Charity are finding the enforced distance between them heartbreaking. Later, Charity has a brainwave. She can escape the drama by a trip to Scotland to be with Debbie. When he hears of her plan to leave the village, he lays down in front of Charity's car as he makes a desperate plea for Charity to stay. After they both confess their true love for each other, Mac proposes they properly get back together and he will face the music and ditch Chloe once and for all. Marlon tells Mary his secret info and she implores him to come clean to Rhona. Aaron goads Billy after the kids argue about a playground fall. Bernice agrees to give Nicola her half of the B&B to avoid police involvement. Mac is overjoyed when Charity accepts and reunites with him. However, he knows this means he really has to now break Chloe's heart. However, Mac's attempt to dump Chloe is interrupted when she collapses unconscious in the kitchen. Charity watches on in disbelief as Mac accompanies Chloe to hospital in the back of an ambulance in the dark as to whether Mac did tell Chloe she was dumped before she collapsed. Marlon's been struggling keeping Gus' secret and ends up blurting the news to a shocked Rhona. A careless word from Paddy in the vets leads Dawn to find out the truth about yesterday's confrontation in the playground between Billy and Aaron. Tension between Billy and Aaron continues whilst Dawn's mind becomes preoccupied with the baby shower Gabby has arranged for her. When an angry Aaron goads Billy in the shop, a fight follows, with Will being forced to break him up. Dawn severely unimpressed when battered Billy arrives home angry he allowed Aaron to provoke him into a fight. Shocked Rhona taps up Ethan for some legal advice, who makes clear it would be an arduous legal battle with Gus and Lucy. Marlon and Mary convince Rhona to speak to Gus and she arranges to meet him tomorrow. When Gus fails to show, Rhona finds herself staking out his house. Rhona is aghast to witness him trying to escape with suitcases. After confronting Gus, Rhona is left in turmoil when heavily pregnant Lucy emerges and expresses her gratitude to Rhona for all she's done, clearly in the dark over the embryo theft. Back in the village, Marlon and Mary grow increasingly worried about Rhona's disappearance. An emotional confrontation in the street between Rhona and Lucy takes a distressing turn when Lucy doubles over in pain. Her waters have broken and Rhona finds herself driving her to hospital. Dawn attends an antenatal class, but the discussion of pain relief drugs concerns her. Bob worries for his future at the B&B. Pressure builds for Mac as he continues to try and retain balance in the situation. But soon he is forced into a decision. Kim is drawn into Billy's feud with Aaron, while Jimmy and Nicola make secret plans.
Xin chào các bạn đã quay trở lại với kênh Spoiler. Vừa rồi các bạn đã theo dõi một